I don't even have my mics on. I'm live and I don't have my mics on. Can you hear me all right? Let me know if you can hear me all right. We won't even go with mics. We're going to talk about the Corporate Transparency Act, and it is a really big deal because the government has just put out some regulations to demand transparency of who owns companies, whether it be LLCs, LLPs, C Corps. Even if you're filing as an S Corp, you have to disclose through a special document who you are and what you own. And it's really important that people do this. And the reason why is because there is jail time attached, there is fines attached, and there's a certain amount of time that you have to be able to do this. All right, so it looks like everyone can hear me without the mic. So here we go. This is out of CNBC. It's really important. And just so you know, a lot of people don't even know this is happening, and they're going to get caught up. Hey, Sea-Dog. Sea-Dog's been with this channel since the beginning. He was on the Economic Ninja channel, always comments like Daryl. I thank you guys, all of you that comment on these videos. It means a lot to me because it keeps everything going. And I can't wait to crush it with you guys right alongside all of you this next year. Okay, so a lot of companies don't know how important this is. I've told you before that I work with a company. I mean, I've used their services. They've set up like 5 entities for me, and they've even worked on entities for me at a much reduced price because their paralegals do it at like, I want to say $80 an hour on corporations that I'd set up in California that I needed compliance with or additional, add-on things that I didn't want to pay these overpriced attorneys. And they've been amazing. The lawyer that owns the company, Garrett, I know him personally. Incredible mind. I've been reading his book since 2003. Well-spoken author. And I put a discount link if you need help with this, because I think I'm in the middle of doing it all myself right now. And it's really important because I need to stay on the compliance side of the government because I don't want to go to jail and I don't want to go, get fined. So there's a discount link in there and a free consultation. You get like $100 off. And like I said, they've set up 5 of my entities before. They're amazing. They're about to set up another one. They don't even know because I got to give them a call. So this story is about U.S. companies that are not rushing to these new regulations to fill out these documents. So out of CNBC, U.S. companies in no hurry to disclose ownership under new Treasury rule. It says, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on Monday announced that just 1 week after a major new reporting requirement went into effect, over 100,000 small businesses have already registered with the department's beneficial ownership database. Though initial numbers lag behind projections. We're closing a loophole and sending a clear message. The United States is not a haven for dirty money, Yellen said during a visit to their Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or FinCEN, headquarters in Vienna, Virginia. Initial numbers lagged behind earlier projections. However, at this pace, meeting a 2022 prediction that approximately 32.6 million businesses will need to register this year appears difficult. FinCEN also estimates 5 million additional reporting companies annually over the next 10 years. A spokesperson for the Treasury told CNBC that the agency is pleased with the filing rate. As more businesses learn if they are required to report under the new law, we expect filing numbers to grow exponentially, the spokesperson said. The Treasury has undertaken several outreach efforts, including partnerships with other federal and state agencies to spread awareness about rule requirements, according to the spokesperson. I'm going to give you a warning in a second that I think the government could do and why you need to make sure you file this document, okay? And do I agree with this? No, I can't stand this stuff. But here's the thing. When you're building a business, there are so many people that skirt laws and they skate by, right? Only later, I've seen them get just completely buried by either the IRS, some government agency. There are more people trying to cheat out there than just try to build a successful business. My construction company, there was so much compliance we had to go through, even to the fact where in our state, we had to post, workman's comp posters and all that kind of stuff. I'll go through all the HR work. You could be fined, or if you do it, you could actually get benefits like on your insurance and things like that. But my point being is compliance is important. Why? Because I don't want to have to worry about who I'm lying to. I just want to go and crush it in business and make as much money as possible. I want to build successful businesses. And so there are a lot of people that want to do that, but they don't know how to get this information. I was actually talking with the company that I work with for my compliance, and they said they are so bogged down just trying to get a hold of the owners, because they're like, you know, people just start these LLCs and they go start a bank account, and then that's it. That's like the last these companies hear from them, and they just sort of fade out, and they aren't able to keep up with them. Hey, did your email change? We've got this big law that just hit. You've got to file this document. And they just sort of disappear, and not all of them do it on purpose. You just sort of forget. And so it's really important to stay on top of this documentation. This is the way the government wants to show you that they are, you know, enforcing laws, and they're making sure everybody pays their taxes and all that kind of stuff. And there aren't people setting up entities overseas that aren't paying taxes and all that kind of stuff. Okay. There's a lot to this. Now it says, until now, thousands of companies were registered every year under the names of hired corporate agents. Like I use that. It's a great benefit. Okay. But I do it fully and correctly. Or attorneys for the actual owners, effectively hiding who actually controlled the companies. The new rules will make the registry available to law enforcement to expedite investigations into illicit activities such as drug trafficking and tax evasion. The benefits of increasing corporate transparency through gathering beneficial ownership information, put simply, knowing who owns what, starting with protecting national security, Ellen said. Information on beneficial ownership will support our law enforcement colleagues in making arrests, prosecuting offenders, and seizing ill-gotten assets. Now, I have met people that set up entities to hide their money. I've met people that do it all over the world, and they do it in this country. They do it through states like Delaware, things like that. They do it to hide things. That's not what I'm about. There are a lot of things I disagree with, but I do not believe in a business owner, because look at all the scammers and thieves out there. Just look down the comment section. You're going to find thieves all over this place. That money is going into bank accounts. Okay. Those bank accounts are registered with companies that are being hidden by some attorneys that know what they're doing on purpose, and some that don't. And they do need to be brought to justice. Okay. And so I want to see you, the American people all around the world, start businesses that are fruitful, that are building up, that are making lots of money, that are employing people. And I want to see you crush it. I want to see the good people take over the bad people. So this law in and of itself, I'm okay with. I'm totally okay with it. Because if you're going to dip into the corporate realm to where, and this is why people start LLCs. Let me just really basically set this up. When you start a business as a sole proprietor, you're using your social security number on all these documents, on loans and things like that. If the company goes under, you go under. The reason why an LLC is so great, or these other entities, and you always want to confirm or consult professionals. That's why I put that coupon code down below, and that free 15-minute consult deal, is because when you start a corporation or an LLC, limited liability company, now that has what's called an EIN. It's a number that's similar to a social security number. Essentially, now that entity is its own taxpayer. And when you take the loans out in the entity's name and you run the corporation properly, and banks give your corporation money that you run and you're getting paid from, if the company was to fold, that folds and it does not hurt you. And for years, when it comes to real estate, I want to teach that to people. I teach that in my courses. I teach that in the free videos. I talk about it's so important that you do the right entity structure. You go get the right advice from a legal professional and from a tax professional. And what's really scary is that this year, there are a lot of accountants that will not tell their clients about the Corporate Transparency Act. And then even if they did, they wouldn't know how to fill that stuff out themselves. Not a lot of them do. As a matter of fact, if you're an accountant down below, start talking about this. Like, I just went to a meeting, a convention where it was all accountants and lawyers. How do you think that went for me? And there was just a handful of business owners. Like 15% of the crowd were owners of businesses, but it was all accountants learning more and lawyers learning more about the current laws and the current accounting stuff. I went because I wanted to bring more to my students and more to this channel. And I was talking to some of the accountants. As a matter of fact, one of them is a fan of the channel. Zishan, if you're in here, throw out a hello. He's an accountant and he's on fire, but he's one of those rare people that go to these courses. go to learn more every year. And there's a lot of professionals, legal and tax professionals that don't, out of insecurity, they don't want to tell you, hey, I just learned something new this year, because they're afraid. And there's people that have raised their hands like, yep, I've been afraid of that before. Legal and tax professionals that are afraid that their clients will perceive them as they're rookies or they don't know everything, rather than, hey, I learned something new, be proactive. See, that's what stops most business owners, most heads of companies from thriving, is letting go of that emotion of, oh, they're going to think I don't know everything. It's like, well, nobody knows everything. Are you kidding me? So this FinCEN rule right now for the Corporate Transparency Act, it is a really big deal. Now, think about this. If you guys can do me a favor, hashtag Corporate Transparency Act down in the below, because people need to get this information. And a lot of attorneys are going to go, I don't, or what, not attorneys, but tax people, like, I don't know. You got to fill it out. If you want to look at that link, it's not $100 coupon for that document. But what I do is I pay companies like Corporate Direct, and this is a company I used, and I really like them. That's why I'm telling you. I contacted him. I said, hey, is there any way of hooking my subscribers up? And he goes, yeah, we could give you an affiliate link where you get money, or you could split it with them. And I said, done, do that, because that's more important. So he give them $100 off. That's for setting up an entity. And their prices are extremely low when you look at a professional firm setting this up. But I pay them a fee, and every year they send me documents. They say, okay, what's changed with your company? And I change it, I add all this stuff, and then they print up my annual minutes for me to sign. They do these legal filings with the state, was of California, that's now moving to another state. You know, I have it all set up. They have registered agents accepting mail and bringing it to me and all this stuff, and going through certain documents for me. So I don't have to worry about that. And I don't remember what I pay per year. It's like $400 or $500. Let's put it this way. It's like less than 1 hour or 2 hours of an attorney's time to do all that stuff. And I'm like, I'm done. I do it. So I want to warn you about that. If you have an LLC and you've never heard of the Corporate Transparency Act and you have not filed your documents, you need to, because there are some gnarly fines. And in this story, it doesn't talk about it. I've talked about it before, but there is big dollar fines and eventually jail time. So people need to get ready for this. Yeah, it doesn't talk about this. I hope you guys get something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is going to come on. He's got a big old piece of cardboard and he's pretty pissed off. So if you want to go watch that, he'll be live in like 5 minutes after this. All right, with that being said, the Real Estate Ninja is out.